on you, you censorious thug.
Our airports were not built to facilitate public health requirements. They were built for the smooth, transiting of passengers, welcoming them into our country. So this is really what's backing up the system at our international arrival.
She's so right. There are mass public health facilities in the world. Ellis Island, as a place in New York City, near the Statue of Liberty, where new immigrants to America over a century ago were inspected for disease and quarantined when they arrived by ship from Europe. A mass health inspection station, a mass immigration station, and a jail, all in one. 12 million people pass through Ellis Island. Just huge, but that was its purpose. It was built for that. Regular citizens didn't go through there. It was just for these newcomers. Now, Justin Trudeau has asked Pearson International Airport in Toronto, by far Canada's busiest airport, with an enormous number of foreign flights to boot, especially from the United States. So suddenly you're asking a busy airport to change from being a busy airport into an Ellis Island. How's that possible? Even changing a 30-second document inspection to a 2-minute document inspection, as if that's all it was. That alone can back things up hours. Think about it. If you have hundreds of people coming off a plane, that's hours. The vaccine checks on foreigners whose home countries no longer require them to carry their vaccine cards around, including America, of course. Seriously, who on earth would come up here unless they absolutely had to? Did you see that video from that Whitney guy? Now, Duncan D is the name of a former chief operating officer of Air Canada about a decade ago. His job was literally to make the planes fly on time. He knows logistics and schedules and all the behind-the-scenes planning. I'd like to read a series of tweets from him to you, each one a fascinating lesson, something that Trudeau and his transport minister have no clue about. Ready? Airlines are not configured to deal with 3 to 4 hour security and customs delays. That crew that was scheduled to operate your flight, they're out of duty time because the flight they operated this morning was held off gate for 2 hours. Isn't that interesting? That aircraft that was scheduled to operate your morning flight, sorry, it missed its scheduled maintenance last night because it couldn't offload its passengers on time because the customs hall was full, so it can't be operated until the maintenance is completed. It's taking your bags a couple of hours to be delivered. Sorry, but the crew that was supposed to offload your bags is delayed taking the bags off another flight that customs held off gate. Why are there no staff to help you rebook your canceled flight when there are 400 people in line ahead of you? Sorry, the agents who were scheduled to start the customer service counter are still boarding their last flight because it took travelers 3 hours to get through security. You missed your connection because customs took 2 hours. The airline took off without you, and the next flight with space isn't for 2 to 3 days. Sorry, but if the airline held the flight for you, the travelers using the aircraft on the return leg would have missed their connections. You arrived at the airport 3 hours before departure, but there isn't an agent to check your bag in. That's because the agent who was assigned is meeting a flight that was waiting at a gate since the last flight that was assigned to it was held off gate because customs was full. And then he concludes by saying the government may want to minimize the fallout from its poor planning, but airlines are not configured to handle 65 plus days of delays. There are simply not enough crews, staff, aircraft, or empty seats to fix the government's mess. Whoa, did you and I just learn a lot about running an airplane there? And you add hours of delays. Imagine the domino effect of that. He's right on all those points, of course. I mean, think about any place where there are lineups that have to move pretty quickly and things need to move on time. A bus stop is a small example, a train station. A gas station, a grocery store checkout line, a restaurant, a movie line, anything. And then imagine adding a government bureaucrat asking stupid questions about unscientific things for which they are poorly trained and understaffed. Nothing would work. Like imagine a gas station where you have to talk to someone for 5 minutes before you're allowed to pump your gas. Or a grocery store checkout where someone held you up for 2 minutes before you got it. Like imagine any other place in the world, it would break down. Blaming the airlines doesn't make sense, though it is fair to ask. How many senior experienced staff did Air Canada fire because they didn't get jabbed? 100, 1,000? I wonder if losing hundreds of competent, experienced staff might have added to this mess. Just a crazy thought. They should be rehired, apologized to, and compensated. So where is Trudeau? He doesn't care. He flies on a private jet, courtesy of you. He doesn't care. So where's Omar Al-Jabra, the transport minister? Well, I took a look at his Twitter feed, and it gives some idea of what he's up to. Here he is, busy with very important business for a transport minister, in meeting with the Ukraine government, apparently. Here he is, calling Canadians racist. That's his part-time duties in cabinet. And here he is, busy meeting with children from his riding. That's a Trudeau specialty because children typically don't ask tough questions. Yeah, so I'm not happy that anyone is being stuck for 6, 12, 8, 24, 36 hours at Pearson Airport. I retract that whole Schadenfreude thing. No one deserves this except for maybe the people who voted for it, the people who agreed with Trudeau when he said we shouldn't tolerate the unvaccinated.
Aussi des gens qui sont farouchement opposés à la vaccination.
Qui sont extrémistes.
Qui ne croient pas dans la science, qui sont souvent misogynes, souvent racistes aussi. C'est un petit groupe, mais qui prend de la place. Et là, il faut faire un choix en tant que leader, en tant que pays. Est-ce qu'on tolère?
Yeah, I'm sort of happy that people who voted for him are delayed. If you voted for Trudeau or for his enabler, Jagmeet Singh, yeah, you kind of asked for this. So, yeah, no sympathy from me, but most Canadians did not. But maybe that's important. Maybe once Liberal voters, mask lovers, maybe the people who thought the punishments would just be on the unvaxxed, maybe it's actually essential that their travel plans are absolutely destroyed. Because maybe Trudeau will listen to their calls for help. That was an excerpt from my daily TV-style show called The Ezra Levant Show. Each weekday, I do a monologue on the news of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest. I read some fan mail or hate mail, depends on which I like more. And we end with a video of the day. You can get it all at rebelnewsplus.com.